11:59 at Radio Free America, and this is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, I got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
Good evening. We are live, and give me some feedback on the mic there. So it looks like from first inspection, we've discovered some censorship right off the gate. So what happened? DJ over here had said he voted early and there was a red chicken. And then over here, where the comment wasn't deleted, there's obviously a white chicken. So is DJ in on it? Was that visible? It had to be visible at the beginning of this video. We're going to go investigate at the beginning of this video because now we know DJ's in on it. Here's the video starting. Right? And here's the comments over here. Oh, he didn't say it yet. He didn't say it yet. He still didn't say nothing. Oh, then the intro happens. The intro is pretty classy and it's pretty awesome. That made him comfortable enough to do it. Just, good evening, we are live. Dang, he said it and removed it during the intro. Touche. Oh, here we go. Look it. So we got this chicken over here. This chicken and this chicken are the same chicken, so it's no big deal. But this chicken is red. Goes chicken, egg, red chicken. Look over here. Chicken, egg, white chicken. Kind of weird racist chicken business is happening here. So most people don't do that kind of investigative research, but we do. So we just got this leaked from Google that they're chicken racist. I don't know who the racist is here, but somebody is. It's either YouTube or the duck. The duck hates chickens. That's probably the case. I'll put them next to each other so everybody can see exactly what we're talking about here. You might have to look really close to your monitor or whatever, but regular chicken, egg, different color egg, huh? Red chicken. Actually, this is a rooster and that's a chicken. So what's up with that? That changed everything. Then we got, chick hanging out and a half an egg for whatever reason, even though it's probably physically difficult. And then plain old chicken. Oh, and then he goes morbid. That's messed up, dude. Messed up. Showing a little baby chicken, some kind of faux tofu chicken. Weird. That's just weird. Anyway, I'm assuming the audio's good. Here we are on Friday evening, taking a look at what's good in 2A for the week. The way that we like to do this is to leave the information in the description of this video. So if you're watching the screen, you're seeing me look at the video that we're watching. That's legal, we do it. And right on, thanks for the feedback. Just gonna take a second here and notice that, look at all these shirts we got going on. What's up with this? Yep, we got a store over here, and for a while it was broke, and now it's not broke anymore. When you click on it, it'll take you to our store. It's called Gear Websites, right? But it's actually Spreadshirt Store. But we just added a pretty awesome deal, the Shoot and Show shirt. So I'm going to be ordering one of those for myself, and then I'll probably be taking it down so we don't get sued. But you get all kinds of other cool stuff like these other shirts. Here's the deal. Let's say you click on one of these things, you're going to notice that everything costs $19.84 because it's awesome, or $42 if it's expensive. So $19.84. Go look at other people's stores. $19.84 on some of these items is like 70 cents profit, and on some of them it's like $7 profit. And the $42 is usually some pretty good profit because that's usually something that costs like 26 bucks or something. So anyhow, these are all set to $19.84 because we're cool and it's not going to make a lot of money. But it's probably the cheapest stuff you can get on Spreadshirt because I think everybody else marks their stuff up to like 20 bucks or 25 or more. So got a whole bunch of designs over there. Check them out. There's like literally 5 pages of designs, and all our designs are awesomer than other designs, and these are shirts you can get. From what I understand, the shirts are decent. That's on YouTube, so you can get all that from the bottom of our videos because YouTube sets it up like that. If you go to our main channel, there's even a store tab at the top there. When you click on it, it gives you a sample set of some of those t-shirts you can get. All right, with that, we're going to dig into the description of this video, and like it says, we're looking at all and only the best of Second Amendment stuff each week. So here's the thing. We're going to end this poll real quick, see what's happening. This was sort of a pre-chat poll for people that are cool and get here right at the beginning, first 10 minutes or whatever. 8 votes. Yeah, it was a pretty good week for 2A. It could have been better, and come on, man. So what is that? 8 votes. So that looks like 4, 2, and 2. That's what if I'm doing the math correctly. Oh, yeah, that's what I was going to ask. What is 2A? There's this dude, Woods, who's always asking this all the time now. The gun community? Which is everybody. You got your gun industry, maybe? The biz. Then you got your shooters. And then, I guess, 2 activists, like Second Amendment. So I'm just going to throw that out there. It's actually a tough one because there's probably a million ways to answer it. It'd be a more interesting question to just say, look at this censorship. Look how long it's taken for that thing to go up. That's YouTube censorship. It'd probably be, what did I write? What, 2A? Ugh. So it'd probably be better just ask everybody what is 2A and then get your answers. But there we go. People are going to answer it if you want. So we're at just 6 people. We're digging back down. So we're looking at the all and only the best of the Second Amendment each week. So I am not going to answer this everybody because 2A, the Second Amendment, everybody uses the Second Amendment. But when I go around saying 2A, I'm usually talking about activists. Just this last part, I would say competition shooters. If I said competition shooter, I'd be more specific. So I think a 2A is 2A activists. I think it is shorthand for that. But I have noticed that it's getting used as gun owner pretty much universally at this point, which, what are you going to do? That's just the way things go, right? So if we're going to be worried about it, then we'll just have to come up with some other name for 2A activists, or say 2A activists, I guess. So anyway, there's just a little side thing. I didn't know how to start off this week. This was a difficult one, and I'm not interested in getting jammed into the news of the day, which I believe is a distraction. So we're going to keep digging in to the other stuff that happened. I'm going to go ahead and make this bigger so that you people can see it easier. And we're just looking at the description of this video, which is where most of the good stuff from YouTube gets shoved. And then we're also going to take a look at guntube.org, which is a platform where for hosting video that's firearms focused. We're also going to take a look at gunstreamer.com, and depending on what people vote on, we'll look at Instagrams. We'll definitely look at GunTube, probably look at GunStreamer if we got time. It'll be up to you people if we look at Instagrams. All right, so digging into the week, feel free if people are here and want to participate. I leave at least 1/4 to 1/3 of the screen available to the comments that are happening. A lot of people show up and they don't even pay attention to your comments because they don't care. But we're the opposite, where it's all about the participation. So use your fingers or your, I don't know, your other appendages or your voice. I don't know how you do it, however you want to do it. I would recommend getting a intern and then use the keyboard or the glass in front of you and participate. And Alvar's tubes will make words show up on this side, and it's amazing. All right, so we start off with, and I was going to say, use that power of interactivity to vote on what you think is so good this week. If you want to pick something out of the list that I picked, or if you got something else in mind, feel free to drop it in there. All right. Starting to lag already? Look at this. This is censorship. Connection is fairly good. It was just bad a second ago. That's censorship. YouTube doesn't like me doing this thing. Even on an evening, what's up with that? There's no way I'm using it. Shut my other computer down. There's no way I'm, are the kids playing video games this late in the evening? 6 o'clock, at 8 o'clock in the evening, the kids are in bed. Locked and loaded. So first off, they ripped us off. But we're pretty good. We got 3 interviews. I don't think I got them all in here. We got the Fenix ammunition one, which I thought was pretty good. We got the Larry Sharpe one. If you haven't listened to that one, that's worth listening to. I had no idea who that guy was. I think he does a pretty good job of getting some positions across. The audio. It says that it's even worse now because again, YouTube censorship. Oh, now it's even worse. Now it dropped my screen. I'll just sit here and not say stuff. YouTube censorship. All right, well, it's so bad internet, and what can you do with it? I pay a lot of money for this internet, so that's messed up. Here's what I'll do. I'm going to go to the internet, and what is today? Oh, the 10th. This is a good day to use this other internet. I'm going to shut off the other internet. What do they call that? Working off of my tether. That's what they call it. I'll turn that on, and then we'll unplug this here in a moment. Put it here, turn this on. Guess I gotta okay to turning the spot on. All right, now that I've got that there, I think I am connected. Soon to be connected. Connect. To a hub off of the stupid phone company. Connected. Huh. You would think it'd be connected really well. My phone's sitting here next to the thing. Okay. Now let's, yeah, all right. Is that any better? Now I'm connected to the phone instead of the bad hub that I was connected to before. All right, so if this thing will eventually go away, we're going to blame YouTube censorship for this. It says it's just back to being poor. Oh, now it's good. Now it's happy. Are we good? Are we good to go? All right, blaming that on YouTube censorship, of course. All right, so where would we leave off? We have a poll going about what do you think 2A includes? Doesn't look like anybody thinks it's the industry. Very few people think it's activists. Very few people think it's shooter. Look at how many communists think it's everybody. Just everybody can be 2A. That's very socialist, open, hippie answers there, but whatever. Hippies listen to this show. All right, so we're going into what's also good this week. We had first I was saying that we got screwed out of not having any kind of locked and loaded show this week at all, period, none. But we did get a couple of 3 interviews, I guess. I only put 2 of them in here. We got this dude from Fenix Ammunition, which is pretty interesting. Then you get very Sharpe. I thought both of those were pretty interesting. Oh, it's also challenging everybody if they wanted to vote for what they think is the best segment out of everything this week, if they've taken a peek at the description, or if they have something they want to suggest as something good this week in 2A. So anyway, we got a couple of 3 interviews from Locked and Loaded. All of them were good, and they're doing them as premieres where they're actually there, right? Don't like talking while or chatting while their interview is happening. That worked out pretty good. I know a couple of people that like that stuff, like this guy. All right. Let's see. So next up, we got the Solutionary Summit. I posted the link to that, which is 7 hours long. So if you're listening to long format stuff and you dig it.
7 out of 10 deaths in the U.S. are caused by chronic illnesses that are preventable, like heart disease, cancer.
I thought I was going to talk about something else. All right. So it was 7 hours long. Let's skip that ad. 7 hour and 22. There's a couple of spots where it's kind of dead spots in the middle where maybe they're changing people on the stage or whatever, in which case if you're listening to it, just fast forward. I went through and put a bunch of timestamps in here to the major segment, like when the segment started or whatever. Pretty much listened to all of them. I don't think I listened to the USCCA one. And I think I listened to all the other ones. They're pretty decent. There's lots of guns and lots of good stuff in there. So if you're looking for something to listen to, it's not all gun stuff. There's one segment towards the end that I guess you could say is gun stuff, but more just, I guess you could say libertarian, or more just not really political, more just interesting stuff. So let's see, then we get to Great Start Shooting School did a video on Saturday this last weekend, and it was supposed to be a premiere. I would say, she's fallen victim to the everything matters on Facebook, and YouTube is a side thing. So it ended just in the middle of the thing. So I don't know how many views it ended up getting. And what's sad is it's a self-fulfilling prophecy or whatever. 67 views with only 8 thumbs.
Hey everyone, it's user for
So because it ended, I don't know how many people listened through to hear it end or whatever, but again, it's good stuff. 2 out of every 3 deaths associated with a firearm are suicides, and every Saturday they put an effort into focusing on that and perspective, solutions, and what did you say, like ways to bring it up in conversations or something, like ways to not be awkward or whatever, dismissing it, because that really is not, well, it's a bunch of reasons it's worth paying attention to. So great effort over there, and that was the first time they did a pre-recorded, set as a premiere, but she wasn't there to watch the premiere. I guess from the comments she said she was, but she wasn't, so didn't quite work, but hopefully she'll keep doing it, right? I don't thumb till I'm done. I don't know. I do that. I thumb people that are worth a thumb, period, and then some people that ain't just worth a thumb, I wait, figure it out, I guess. When you got a giant channel like me, thumbs are worth more than regular people's thumbs, so I don't just dish my thumbs out like Halloween candy. Let's see, then we get Gun Freedom Radio. They had a couple of different ones this week, so Alan Gottlieb was on. Anybody listen to this one? Talking about the Gun Rights Policy Conference, talking about AMCON. AMCON is now owned by Second Amendment Foundation. Any want to have any comments on that one? This one was interesting. That's all I'm going to say. So they're satisfied with doing it remotely or whatever, virtually. Then we have Gun Freedom Radio a couple episodes later, I guess, with John Lott, and that was pretty good. Just kind of 1,000 rounds of ammo. That's a good week. Plus the Chipman deal getting shot down. Alan bores me mostly. He was mostly talking about the Gun Rights Policy Conference and history of Second Amendment Foundation and stuff like that. Let's see. So then we get how pistol braces helped. Oh, this is Wield. So this is Wield did some project with Gun Owners of America, and this is a video that he posted, kind of showing and describing the project and the pictures that he helped with.
Set up for your head pretty often. You can also see
pretty cool. Plus you get to see a range and his gun, I guess. So right on. Andy's helping out Gun Owners of America. I think at this point I'm going to take a guzzle of coffee here. I've been trying to not drink coffee, but now I'm going to drink some coffee. Oops, that's the wrong thing. And while I'm doing that, why don't you listen to this from Alan Acorn. So Alan Acorn was once on a covered wagon coming back coming to the west from back east, and at one point he looked up and there was a cactus that was in the shape of a boat anchor, and on the top of that cactus there was an owl, and that gave him the idea for Velcro. So he invented Velcro right then and there. I think that was somewhere in the deserts of California, and then he started a little wooden, what do you call them, like one of them wooden sidewalk type of villages, but focused on Velcro. And there were various themed restaurants and places for people that were traveling with the owl theme or with the anchor theme. And then eventually it became a store in California.
We would like to say thank you to owlandanchor.com for great two-way items like these. Go to owlandanchor.com and place an order today.
Right, so then that'll take us to Riding Shotgun with Charlie. Which one was this one? This one he had somebody on who I'd never heard of before, and she is, I guess she went to one of the diversity shoots, and is that where she met him?
Shotgun with Charlie.
I think she was saying that she got hooked up with a girl and a gun and then started a company. And then she's working with New Jersey firearms owners. But I can't remember what the event was that they met up at. So anyway, Riding Shotgun with Charlie and somebody from New Jersey. Then you get Dragonman's daughter is, I don't know how old she is, but it was her birthday. So what do you get Dragonman's daughter on her birthday? It's 1 minute long.
Today's Melissa's birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. What do you think? Any gun on the wall here. Which one do you want? What do you think? Oh, lucky girl. She's going to grab. Oh, man. Oh, she's getting one of my machine guns. Oh, man. Hey, she wants a Thompson. She's getting the Thompson. Oh, yeah? Okay. Well, show everybody the gun you picked out. Okay, and later on, it comes with 100 bullets, too.
Isn't he nice?
Yeah, okay. You happy?
It's a $30,000, probably a $45,000 gun and 100 bullets. Dragonman's awesome, and he lets his daughter just have one of his badass Thompsons. That's awesome. So, yeah, that's worth watching. Is that 2A? No, but it's kind of 2A, I guess. It's just, I should have left that open. It is a couple of weeks away. They just did another video. Let me close this up.
Melissa's birthday. Happy birthday to
It is 2 weeks away from the machine gun shoot up at Dragonman. So if you're going to be in the area, you might want to make plans to go to the machine gun shoot. We did a video, I think it was on this channel, talking about the machine gun shoot and the different opportunities and options of rentals and stuff there. I'm distracted by mosquito killing. I think I got one. So yeah, a couple weeks away from Dragonman's machine gun shoot. If you're going to be in the Colorado Springs area, definitely worth checking out. Oh, speaking of Owl and Anchor, so Barbecue had Angelina on. Anybody watch that video? That's where I discovered the real story of Owl and Anchor, where Alan Anchorage had purchased some acreage in California, and there was a big rock that looked like an owl. And then there was, of course, the plants that grew around it that had the shape of boat anchors. And that's what gave the guy the invention, or the idea for Velcro. And started his first surf store there. Turns out you can't make a surfboard out of Velcro, though. So then they eventually started to make patches out of it. And then later, his great-great-great-granddaughter sold it to some girl that runs the store today. And then that was the story we heard on as part of the interview over on Barbecue's 2A Woman Wednesday. I don't know if anybody watched that one or watched it live. You could use feedback to make words, and then we'd have interaction, because I didn't watch that one live. Let's see, then we had Santee talking to Locs and Load, I guess. Just interesting to listen to different, like, new gun owners chat with each other and whatnot. And I'm digging Santee's, of all the different people from regular gun guy that, like, regular gun guys introduced the community to. Like, I like Santee the best, so I've been following hers more than anything. And this Locs and Load obviously sounds too much like 1,300 other channels, but interesting channel. And I don't know, he must have been a Marine or something, because he's got some kind of awareness, it seems like, and he's bringing that to that new community, which is pretty cool, because you see these new communities pop up, and if there's not going to be competitive shooters, usually somebody who's new and gets into competitive shooting goes right past just the people that are new and chatting about guns, and they go on to hang out with competitive shooters. Hunters, kind of the same thing. So most of the people that just stop and hang out tend to end up being not anything, just a little bit of everything, or not a little bit of nothing, really. They're not competitive shooters, they're not hunters, they're just people who like guns and shoot and chat about them and whatever. So they might have some insight, but mostly from not from firsthand. So anyway, this Lock and Loaded seems like he's got some kind of firsthand, and he's bringing that just from some of the conversation there. And again, that's why it's cool listening to a long format conversation. So I threw that one in there. Then you got Cash. I don't know if people are following Cash. He just does some, I think when Clover started featuring channels and giving people, he would mansplain to channels how to do stuff. I started paying more attention to a couple of different channels, and Cash came along at that point, and he was putting a lot of effort into his camera work and his photography and his thumbnails and stuff. So just a nice gun collection video, I guess you could say, but also a decent collection. And I think it'd be tough for anybody to challenge his collection. He's got a couple of collectible AKs, I guess, that aren't cheap, and certainly aren't like just what the normal perception of an AK would be, some kind of gun that you basically find behind a dumpster, and it's just a murder death weapon. Instead, his are like $2,000 guns that are designed, or they're all fancy and Barbie dolled up to look like whatever they're supposed to look like in real life, whatever they're emulating. But the rest of his collection is basically inherited and family heirlooms and stuff like it says. So great. I don't know, it's a trend now. We'll do another poll up here and see what people are saying. So we'll do the next poll is going to be on gun collections videos. All right, so what is 2A? Looks like everybody's wrong and said the community. You're allowed to think that if you want, but you're wrong. It was Second Amendment advocates is the right answer to that. So then we will go to another poll. Come on. This is YouTube censorship. If I can't just click on the poll and it opens. Come on. Now it's not right clicking. So gun collection videos. A good idea. I like them. I don't care, like one way or the other. Interested? No problem. You're also saying if you like them or not. So then, bad idea. Oops, bad idea. Don't like them. And of course, come on, man. You have to put this in or else you got to wear a mask. So I got to put that one in. All right, there. So now we're going to see from you, the humans that might be watching this live, the answers to whatever this question says. So gun collection videos, this phenomenon, which is weird. Nobody does this back in the day. Making videos of your gun collections and then posting that video on the internet for everybody to look at, including the ATF and CIA and everybody else who's going to look at it, criminals, your enemies. So you either like them and they're a great idea, or you don't care and they're no problem, or you hate them and they're a bad idea, or God, you got to wear a mask. So then we're going to keep going and see what is next. So that was talking about Cash EDC's gun collection video. There's a lot of gun collection videos out there. Holy moly. So if you don't clear out your history, right? Your history is what? Oh, I shouldn't have clicked on it. The history is all these videos that you've been watching. If you don't go in and say like, I don't want Riding Shotgun with Charlie in there. I don't want a Great Start Shooting School in there. Look, I watched this thing. I didn't even watch this. This was one of them things where if you just don't turn it off fast enough, it counts it as a video. I definitely don't want that. It's a freaking German dude running an obstacle course. This is some kind of dumbass plywood, probably from Europe. Looks like European plywood. I don't want that in there. I don't know how that got in there. I don't know what this one is. I don't know. Oh, that's RWG's giveaway thing. So, right, like you can tweak out your, what do you call this? Your history so that what shows up when you click, well, basically this will be a version of what is in your history. Any collection equals some appeal. What's all this about? Is that today? That's not today, is it? I know that is coming up. I didn't think it was today. Oh, nope, the wrong one. Hold yeah, that is today. Dang. So thanks for bringing that up. I'll bring that up since I haven't made any videos. We have the Colt being patented today in 1850. So that was kind of neat. And then at the same time, Glock was being patented today in 1985. So kind of cool. I think they're also born on the same day. Or am I crazy? Oh, you know what I can just do? The search for Colt. July 19th. Oh, I guess I can just go back to July. And Samuel Colt and Glock born on the same day. Has anybody else besides this channel ever made that correlation before? Well, we got the calendar here, so now that kind of stuff can be made. That's amazing. And if you spell Glock in Austrian, it's Colt. What? And if you spell Colt in Austrian, it's Glock. What? I'm just saying. All right, see, so that's somebody, Makojo and DJ over here, are being part of the show. What the hell's going on outside? We're going to have to call the police or something? Kids in their loud stereos in their cars, fast cars. Let's see, where are we at? Braces, we did Shotgun with Charlie. We got to the interview with Alan Anker on 2A Women Wednesday, Santee TV's interview, and Cash EDC. So that takes us to Green Beret Foundation. I'm not going to click on this one because it's tough. So if you feel like it and you're down, then you can click on this one and watch it. It is it's Mental Health Awareness Month and Suicide Prevention Month, I think. Or is it just week? But it's definitely Suicide Prevention Month and Mental Health Awareness Month. Different organizations are dealing with that in different ways. You know, in military, you've got your 22, the number, fluctuates around 22 veterans a day choose to commit suicide. And so that's an issue. There's also the mental health part of it, which I'm sure leads to it. And they're finding out, well, I'm finding out that it's becoming more and more well-known that that's coming from brain traumas and stuff that have nothing to do with PTSD, but can come from physical issues too. So there's a lot that's being discovered, and as an activist, I think there's some worth in discovering this stuff, very much like a Great Start Shooting School's effort to be aware of suicide prevention. There's some other efforts out there to be aware of mental health awareness and suicide prevention. So Andy's Fund is an effort by the Green Beret Foundation to raise awareness for suicide prevention. So again, I'm not going to link to that one here, but feel free to if you're in the mood. It is not lighthearted. Let's leave it that way. It's a serious one. So not all of these organizations are going to approach these topics in the same way. Not everyone needs to hear the message the same way, right? Everybody hears it from a different person in a different way. So in that light, I added this one, but this one isn't. This one's a little not as light and is not necessarily 2A, but again, relates to 2A because unfortunately, even though this facet of society is pretty much ignored and always has been, it's just not enough humans are involved with it to make it a big enough blip on the radar for the national scene or the nation. And it's unfortunate, but it's just a fact. Because of that, the people that do focus on it are valued. So thanks for that. All right, next up is Mic Drop. Mike had an interview with Rick Hogg. Interesting because Mike is a dog handler for the Navy, and Rick is a dog handler in Army, and with 29 years experience, not all of it with dogs, but these guys certainly had a lot to talk about with the dogs, and Rick has an interesting story. So it was a good one. Not one of my top 10 probably, but it was a good one, and only because Mike's got, I don't know, well, 75 episodes, and there's some really stellar ones. This one was not bad, though. It's definitely not in the bottom 10 or anything. Let's see. Let's see. Can't see my comment on Today in History. Removed it because you beat me to it. I don't know what you're talking about. Some other channel? Got to reboot last comment. Adjusted the live chat. I don't know what you're talking about. Fast cars and fast women. I use multiple devices to watch the same show. Ears with the iPod so I can walk around, computer to type and see. I've done that before, but not always. But usually I use a computer to type. It's too tough to type on a phone for me. So then, let's see. So next we can move to Florida, doubling down on GOA. So Crump and Florida are having a big fight. Figured I'd see what people think about that. Where are we at with this poll? So we have 9 answers. And could that be more evenly balanced with the come on mans ruining it for everybody? Like always, Bidens are ruining it for everybody, Bidening it up and ruining it. So we get no valid info because of Biden's come on man. So we'll end that one. Let's see. I don't really want to put up a poll. But anyway, so that's just one of those things. The organizations don't love each other, so they're going to fight with each other once in a while. So let's see. I did a short for Gizzard during his show last week on SKS bayonet parts. Clover guaranteed me that that short would be viral. And it barely got 372 views, so Clover is obviously a liar. Let's see, we did a show called the Advanced Class on 2A. I think it went pretty well. I think we went for, 3 or something hours last weekend. I'm not sure if I'm going to do one this weekend, though. So that'll be a poll over here. Should we host a 2A advanced? Yes or no? Boom. So I'm not sure if I should host one tomorrow night, so I'm looking for some input on that. Oh, there's a mosquito flying around. I hate it when they fly right in front of my face. I don't know if I got one or if that was something else. Because then I can't tell how far away they are from me. I can't tell if they're right in front of my eye or if they're 3 feet in front of me. All right, so that was the advanced class question. Next up, we had a Labor Day conversation. Oh, it looks like I need some more coffee. So if I need some more coffee, y'all are getting another commercial. So why don't you get a Locked and Loaded? They are live normally. We're not being ripped off Sunday nights. How can I be 45 minutes into this show? Is that even right? How can that even be? We're not even, not that far down this list. I guess we're kind of far down this list. All right, so that was the advanced class. Then we've got Labor Day. So on Labor Day, instead of, taking the day off like everybody else did, we went live for 4 hours and 20-something minutes and talked about 2A. I think it was a pretty good conversation. Let's see. We have Ask Gun Questions on Saturdays. I don't think we'll be doing one this week, but every other week we go live for about an hour. Last week I went live for an hour, then Clover jumped in, so we kept going live for an hour, and then I think we went for another half an hour or more. So kind of an unusual long one last week. Let's see. Got these What Guns Are Season 2 happening. I don't know what happens in these videos if people are that upset by them. They were designed to be, I don't know, like just to give people ideas to chat about in live conversations, because people sit around going, I don't know what to talk about. There's nothing to talk about. What's in the news? What are you buying? Okay, there's nothing to talk about. So this was, to throw some different ideas out there. Somebody could go look at that playlist and go, well, here's a whole bunch of ideas. What if we talk about one of these things? And they get thumbs down. I just don't understand. It's not like I'm saying things that are controversial. I think I say in this one something that's called New Technology in Firearms. I can't imagine I recorded that video a long time ago, so I don't know what I say in there specifically, but I'm sure it's something like 3D printing and mills or something, like you can do new things with firearms. Did I say something super controversial? I don't know. I don't get the kickback or the negative feedback on the What Guns Are series. So I'm looking for feedback on why you'd think we're getting negative feedback on that series. It's not like, you know what I mean? Like, because I could see it if I get negative feedback on everything, but just on that series seems odd. It's fake. That's what I'm saying. It's fake. So next up is, I don't know why I put this one in here. Problem is I set these videos up a week ahead of time. So this is that cake video. And I must have had something to talk about with the cake video. Oh, please put a commercial in front of my video on my channel. Please. So if you got an idea of why I would have put our cake video up here, let me know, because I can't remember why I put the cake video in here. All right, so with that, we're going to go look at GunTube, because the next thing is going to be unpleasant. So before we go do that, we're going to go look at GunTube, which is pleasant. So guntube.org is a video hosting platform that is made in the USA. It's hosted in the Carolinas, and it is maintained by Mike, who is human here in the United States. So if you're interested, and it's like 7 years old now, so it's been around for a while. It uses solid technology. It's easy to use and professional looking. It's nice. I'm not getting paid by them. In fact, we are now helping to sponsor a feature on the site. So I'm just happy that it's there, that we can use it. So one of the things we're doing over there is streaming the auctions from Pot of Gold Auctions. So we started doing that this week. Yeah, on the 7th. So we're going to keep doing that. It looked like it worked pretty well. It's not going to run for me right now because of the way I have everything set up, but you can go live. You have a live stream, whatever you want to call it, text chat, just like this one. And then I can invite people in, which I'll probably do, and then we watch the auction. And once it's done going live, it streams right over to GunTube, and y'all can just watch it right here on GunTube. So we keep YouTube and YouTube's terms of service out of the mix, and I really like that. So one of the things you can look at over on GunTube is the live streams. There's not a lot of them yet, so there's not a lot of them there, but you can click videos. And a bunch of different people post videos. I post some of the different series over there. It looks like Rogue Banshee is posting some of his videos. Definitely this main man channel posts a lot of stuff. The TN Picker and Ghost. So if you want to have a platform where you can post videos that are not just stored on a separate place, like some of the other platforms, their main claim to fame is that they're backup to YouTube. This is not a backup. It effectively is, but it is also, more importantly, it is a place that gun people are over here watching videos. And there's other stuff you can do over here, like go to the vlogs section. And no, is that the part? There's a part in here where you can chat or something. I haven't found it. I'll have to find it. But anyway, GunTube's got some other pieces to it that besides just the video parts, and run by Mike, so real deal. So anyways, went over there to look at some stuff, and it looks like just Rogue Banshee and the main man channel have been posting over there for the most part recently. Let's see, then we'll go back. So I was watching this thing on, what do you call it? Ed's Manifesto, and I'm not going to link on it because it's gross, and I wouldn't recommend it if you don't want to know something that's horrible. So this is a horrible thing that I didn't know about. Now I have to know about it because I've seen it. But I don't find, I'm 50, so I don't find very many things that I didn't know about, and this was gross. So it has to, well, it'll tell you right there. So once you read that, it's enough. You can put it in your list and just know that it's a thing. And then if you want, you can look at the video. Let's see. So then last week we gave away some patches, and I think I made a video. I didn't go live. I made a video where I distributed some patches, some of the last patches out of the machine because the machine broke last week. And this is just a link to that. This is a link to a live session we did where we gave away a bunch of patches live, and then when I actually put those patches into envelopes, I recorded that also, and maybe some other things got put into the envelopes. We'll never know. So that'd be recorded for Thank You Thursday in a future week from now, and that's about everything in the list. Let's go see what kind of poll we got going. Should we host an advanced class on Saturday? It's 4-3. So even though that won, it's not winning by a lot. Let's see how many people are in here. I'm gonna start doing some interesting math here. So if there's 11 people watching and I'm one of them, that means there's only 10 people, and that means that there's 7 votes. That means 3 people aren't even real in here. So 7 people. I don't know. That's not even, that's 1 person more than 50-50. So out of 7 people, that's not an overwhelming majority. So that would actually only be maybe 4 people showing up. I'm taking that with a grain of salt. And I'm going to end the poll. Okay, so the other thing I was going to ask in a poll is, what is this? We're already an hour in. So last couple of weeks, people book out of there as soon as it's over. It's too late for a lot of you people, or there's something good that happens right after this. So Johnny, Roland, shooting show, question mark. Yes, let's do it. Or no, I'm too tired and need to sleep. Whatever it is you do. Or, come on now. That's what the Biden bunch says. All right, so we're going to see if people are going to be able to dig into some Johnny Roland shooting show business. I got 3 Johnny Roland shooting shows. There's technically 4, but 3 good ones. While we're waiting for the poll, we're going to get at least, with 10 people watching, we need at least 7 votes. 7 votes, or else we're not even counting this as an actual poll. So here's the thing. One of these channels that we listen to is Locked and Loaded Latinos. I think they're like, I don't know what they are, 18 and 19 years old, something like that. So they've never seen any movies. I don't know if they're allowed to see R-rated movies yet or what the deal is. So they just barely seen, well, they barely seen Red Dawn, but then they barely watched, what did they watch the other day? They watched something else. Oh, they were going to watch Escape from New York. And then they had also seen Lone Wolf McQuade. Now, Lone Wolf McQuade is amazing. It's definitely one of the better movies ever made, and a good Chuck Norris movie. I'm not the biggest fan of Escape from New York, although I know a lot of people that are. And so they're going to be watching a bunch of movies, I imagine, because they're digging them. So it could be interesting to hear any ideas people have out there to give them kids for movies from the 80s that are good. Not just movies from the 80s, DJ. I don't want just a list of movies from the 80s, movies that are good. But it looks like we're going to end it because we only have 6 votes, and the overwhelming majority is to do the Johnny Roland Shooting Show, but because we only got 6 votes and not the required 7 votes, it has only been 1 minute. So I'll give it 3 minutes, I guess. But if we can't get one other vote in 7 minutes, then I feel like, why would we do the Johnny Roland Shooting Show? Lone Wolf is fantastic, one of my all-time favorites. Yes, I agree. Very good movie. All right, so as punishment, and because I'm going to drink a guzzle more of coffee, I can't play the DC Project commercial anymore. I have to go in there and mansplain out of it all the copyrighted music. So I think we already played that one. Do I have any other commercials? Oh, I know. I got this commercial. Check out our gear website store at gearwebsites.com for all kinds of cool two-way stuff. Doesn't even give me time to drink coffee or wipe it off of my mouth. All right, well, we're not getting another vote. This is the belligerency of Friday night chat, live chat. People are like, oh, I'm going to withhold my vote just so that the rest, just to stifle, what is this, 6 votes, 83. So I'm guessing this is 5-1. So one person is like, I can't handle Johnny Roland in the evening. It's too much for me. I'm going to bed. And then the other 5 people were like, I'm into this. Let's do this. This has to happen. That's what I signed up for. And then the rest of the people were like, well, I'm going to stifle them by not voting. And that's what's happening. So do you blame Johnny Roland? No. Do you blame me? Of course not. I'm the innocent bystander here. I'm the one who's getting abused in this whole situation. There's 11 people watching, minus me. That's 10 people. 6 votes. It's those 4 people that you blame. Those are the ones you want to blame. So here's the deal. We're going to have a deal where you can blame them and get a reward. So if you can turn them in, like mark on them, you'll get some kind of reward. I don't know what the reward will be, but it'll be good. Coffee off of Texas. All right, well, so I guess that's it. I tried shaming them into it. I tried threatening them. I tried sicking everybody else on them in a weird 1984 Orwellian way. Oh, now everybody's turning on each other, see? And that's messed up. Who really is the problem is the 4. We're calling them the anti-voting 4. Are they ATF agents? Maybe. Are they FBI plants? Maybe. Probably. Are they voting? No, they ain't voting. 4 minutes. That's a long time to wait. Watching the vote not happen. All right, well, with that, we'll wrap it up, I guess. There are some interesting things to check out at the Johnny Roland Shooting Show. If you go to one of these links and then go to the comments down there, I would recommend things like when Johnny Roland was saying things about Smith & Wesson and the Hillary hole going out of business in the year 2000, and about how Glock and Browning said, that was pretty good. You also get back in the year 2000, a bunch of ladies talking to other ladies about how to be badass, holding guns and babies and stuff. And then you get little baby Larry Pratt back into year 2000, 22 years ago, probably before his son was even born. And he's talking about Orin Hatch's bullshit gun show ban, universal background check, and importation ban and storage laws. But nobody wanted to hear about that. Then you could go to this show and watch about the Wilson Combat Factory Tour from 1997. What? Yeah. When IDPA was invented? Yeah, because at minute 13, they talk about the origins of IDPA, which was that year. So that's pretty neat. And you're like, well, nothing can beat that. Johnny Rowland talking to Chip Wilson, or whatever his name is, Bob Wilson or Bill Wilson or whatever, about IDPA that he invented. Well, how about right before that, where he talks about Gun Owners of America back in 1997, the importance of Second Amendment awareness. Nobody wants to hear about that on a Friday night. So the next show you could listen to will be the week before. See how they chronologically work. 6/22/1997, 6/29/1997. So if you listen to this show or watch it, you're going to get the origin of the Georgia Arms, which is one of the companies that supports Johnny Rowland. Did I just get kicked out? I got censorship. Did I just get censorship going everywhere? What's up with that? What is the paying attention to the machine? It's messed up. Censorship at the extreme, because they only talking about Johnny Rowland did in 1997, obviously. Such censorship. Well, this is censorship. There's no problem with the internet. This is 100% YouTube not wanting me to be able to say stuff about Johnny Rowland. We all know it. 100% YouTube censorships. All right, I'm going to try plugging this back in, and we're going to go to the other connection from this connection. Doing a connection jump. All right, connection. Don't tell everybody my connection information. Stupid YouTube. All right, am I connected again now? Ugh, this is ridiculous. This is poor internet connection. This is why 2A is going to end because of the internet connection failures. Can't have good 2A with bad internet. It sucks. Ugh. Here's the things I blame. I blame YouTube for this. I blame Chipman for this. I blame diabetes for this. Is it coming back? Is it coming? I can't tell if it's coming back or not. It says it's better. Better? All right, we're back. Are we back now? All right, we're almost done. So that's the end of the show. So thank you everybody sticking with us. All right, we'll talk about the end of the show. So first there was this week, 6/22/97, and then it was 6/29/97. They start doing the tour of Wilson Combat Factory Tour on the 22nd, and then they go to the 29th and finish the tour and talk about the origins of IDPA, right? All that part's awesome. This part you are going to listen to, even though you people voted, most of you people voted to not even listen to this. Oh, now we got 10 votes, so now it's legit. Now you're legally able to listen to this without any conflicts. I'm going to go ahead and say you're welcome. Listen to this.
Read something. This is a little booklet that I borrowed the other day from a friend of ours up in Arkansas, and it's a little booklet on Great Eureka Springs bank robbery. And this little booklet is by Edwin Tolley and Kevin Hatfield. It says here's what the newspapers reported. This was in September 30. This article came out September 30 in 1922. Let me just read this to you. This is 5 bandits robbed the bank the other day and thought things were going about as usual. But just as they headed for their car at the curb in the customary manner, they suddenly realized they'd made a mistake. They were in Arkansas. And no helpless crowd of hopeless citizens stood agate while the dashing bandits sailed right out of their ken like a meteor on a starry night. That's not the way they do it in Arkansas. Well, at that time anyway. 2 pedestrians on the way to visit a sick friend saw what was going on and stepped inside the bank door in time to open the battle with a few well-directed bullets toward the bandits' vital organs. A lawyer in an office overhead said to his earnest client, said, "Excuse me a moment, please." He stepped to a front window and put a half dozen bullets where they would do the most good. A dentist asked his patient to keep wide open, please, just one more moment, and rested his rifle on the windowsill long enough to make sure that at least one of the bandits would fail to leave town that day. A schoolboy hustling home to lunch whipped out his automatic and joined the attack. Now the merchants began issuing from the lunch counters in their kitchens. Each individual had his pistol spitting fire and steel as soon as he came within range. And not an innocent bystander was scratched. No wild shooting down at Eureka Springs. Needless to add, not one of the 5 bandits got away, and all the money, $70,000, was carried back into the bank. And this is the Wichita Eagle newspaper says, the Congress of the United States should vote a medal to the town of Eureka Springs and a diploma to Arkansas, where they certainly stopped this crime. Now, friends, that's how it used to be. And if nothing else, that shows the concealed carry. And see, a schoolboy, in the not too distant past, it wasn't unusual for kids to carry guns if they're going hunting after school, take them to school on the bus. But what has happened has nothing to do with firearms ownership. What has happened is our society.
So that's a little booklet he got from Eureka Springs, Arkansas, September 30th, 1922. So somebody made up that little brochure with that little narrative in it. Pretty awesome. So if you could hear that okay, I thought that was pretty good. So that was worth listening to. Then this is the Georgia Ammo is on all the Johnny Roland shooting shows that you'll see a commercial someplace like this.
You should notice these ballistic tip nozzle bullets in this Georgia Arms ammunition. You see, this is
right. Also, sometimes he'll take a look at their catalog and go through it. And he talked to the guy from Georgia Ammo and the origin of the company. And then this little gem came up.
Right now, we have a proposal in place, the Lautenberg ban. And what this does, the language of the law says that what we're going to do here is punish men who abuse and beat their wives. That's what the law says it's going to do. But if you look at the wording of the law, what it actually does is it doesn't take a gun away from a guy that abuses his wife or his children. It takes a gun out of that home, is what it does. The wife can now no longer have a gun either. Now, as you and I both know, a husband, a guy your size, doesn't need a gun to abuse a woman that's 5'3" and weighs 100 pounds. See? But on the other hand, a woman that size might need a firearm to protect herself against someone from your size. So this ban, in fact, is not helping anyone. It's actually hurting the very people that they're saying we're trying to help. But nobody is educating the public to that fact.
That's really true. And of course, now Clinton's trying to make it a felony. If, heck, Curtis, I remember I got my first gun. I was 8, 9, or 10, somewhere there, 8 or 9.
Exactly.
And
6.
And my father wouldn't let me go off with it by myself until I had used it for a good while and I knew what it would do and I respected it. See, even little children, like I said, you were 6 years old, can be taught how guns work if someone takes the time to do it. And now, and I don't know if they're proposing 18 or 21, let your child, let your teenage son or daughter say, hey, my dad gave me a shotgun for Christmas. Whoa, it's lockup time, friends. We're talking up to 10 years in jail.
So this is something that they dealt with in '97. That was pretty interesting. So it's super interesting listening to Johnny Rowland because he's constantly talking about 2A. Here's a portion where
these other folks that he's worked.
His dog walks into the frame. So some of these early ones, he's got these dogs that just hang out and they don't care if he's shooting or not. They'll just sniff around and do their business. And then there's also this one with this cat, and I can't find it. It was one of the first ones I watched. The cat will come out here, and the cat will sometimes just go walk around in the grass and play like a cat while he's shooting, and he don't care because the cat's used to it, and then they must have quit doing it or quit letting the cat do it because they don't do it anymore. But I thought that was pretty cool. You could see the dog in that one. Listen to this. Remember, 1997. Now, Johnny Rowland had been doing his show by this time for almost a decade.
Friends, if we as shooters, another section, let me tell you what, friends, if we as shooters don't put aside our differences and begin working together, you don't have to worry, friends. We won't be worried about doing a shooting show because we won't have any guns to show. And that's where our society is headed as of now. Now, I haven't given up. It is not too late to turn this thing around. Certainly, it is not too late to make some progress about not only keeping our guns, but getting some of our rights back.
So in 1997, later on in the show, they're about to gripe about what was that? That was the Lautenberg Amendment. To an Omnibus Consolidated Appropriations Act of 1997. So basically the government attempting to continue to constrict the infringements based off the 94 assault weapons ban. So this kind of awareness and resistance to the Lautenbergs and the others are what got people out of office, like getting this kind of awareness is what got people to get sick and draw a line, right? So I'm going to dig in, since everybody said it was cool to dig into some Johnny Rowland. Let's go check out thing with Larry Pratt and the guy from Wilson talking about Gun Owners of America, and if you want, the origins of IDPA. Definitely thought that bank robbery thing was freaking amazing. I'm going to pull that out and make it its own video. All right, so this one is from 2000. And in 2000, they had a couple of things to deal with. So they had just dealt with, or it was just the Smith & Wesson bullet, the Hillary hole, the Smith & Wesson concession to the Clintons was just happening in 2000. So I think it was, I don't remember, but it was just happening. And then you had just had this attack by a senator from Utah, and we're going to dig into a couple of these things. So this first one is Johnny in the introduction of the show addressing Smith & Wesson's decision, I guess you could say.
Our program's this half hour. I'm sorry that I have to announce this, but it looks like Smith & Wesson's going out of business thanks to the blackmail of the Clinton administration. It is very scary what's coming down. You have to. Employees are going to have to be trained in firearms law when the ATF agents themselves don't know what law is. To sell Smith & Wesson's, the qualifications have become so difficult. It's unbelievable. Smith & Wesson is probably going to go out of business as a seller of firearms to the civilian market. For Glock and Browning's credit, they have stood up and said they're not going along with this ridiculous agreement. Just as illegal as can be, but the Clinton administration doesn't care about a small thing like legality. That's not going to get in their way.
So this is just Johnny addressing in real time from 2000 what we can find out after the fact in hindsight from the book Glock, America's Gun. Glock, when Johnny just says this.
Such a ridiculous agreement to the civilian market. For Glock and Browning's credit, they have stood up and said they're not going along with this ridiculous agreement.
Not only that's how he knew it at the time, because how could he know, right? But we know from 2020 hindsight from a researcher who wrote a book about Glock that Glock's decision to not go along with this saved the gun industry. Saved the gun industry. Saved the gun industry. Smith & Wesson conceded. Colt was run by a dude who is a multinational business owner. It was just one of his business holdings, and he was not a gun person. It's interesting times. Interesting to see these insights from somebody who's an activist back in the day, struggling to keep his channel, his show on satellite TV. He had, at this point in 2000, he was paying for blocks of satellite time ahead of time, prepaying for blocks of satellite time. And you can tell from somebody, would actually be an interesting project for somebody to go back and try to track all the different sponsors. But you can tell from the amount of sponsors and the shifting and stuff that must have been frustrating to market to be able to pay for all that satellite time. This was before cable. I don't know how cable went. Did you have to pay for cable time also, or were they paying you at that point?
Just as illegal as can be, the Clinton administration does not care about a small thing like legality. That's not going to get in their way. And friends, it's a very sad thing. Smith & Wesson is a great country. For example, if you sell Smith & Wesson guns, you won't be able to sell semi-automatic rifles or large capacity magazines in your store. And if Smith & Wesson are going to be sold at a gun show, that means that all the transactions at the gun show must go through a Brady background check. It's ridiculous. It's crazy. So I'm sorry.
So a Brady background check. This is between Brady and Nix, between 97 and 2000. No, I don't remember when Nix happened. Must have been after this.
Hard to announce this, but I think that Smith & Wesson is essentially out of business. You know, I spoke before a group of gun owners, some of whom may be watching this program a while back. And
all right, so definitely worth watching that. At this point, Johnny Rowland talks about how his 460 is effective against 400 bears.
You know, friends, the other day someone called me from Anchorage, Alaska, and wanted to buy one of our pistol kits. And the reason that our 460 Rowland cartridge is so important because it gives more power in the size and shootable package than has ever been available. Now, this individual told me that in the city limits of Anchorage, over 400 bears live within the city limits. And this is a real possibility, whether it be a one of the drug-induced.
Can you imagine trying to just walk home from the 7-Eleven? You're like, kind of hot in Anchorage today. I'm going to go to the 7-Eleven and get me a Slurpee or whatever. And then you're walking home, and there's 400 bears between you and home?
Predators, but for a moment, we're going to talk about bears. you come nose to nose with a bear, let's get our timer and put it on. Let's just run a quick experiment here. Let's see how long it will take to put, say, 5 shots of our bear type load into a small, I'm going to use this little circle here representing a bear. Let's see how long it takes, see what you can do with our pistol.
Yeah, circle, bear, whatever. So that's pretty cool. I'll let you read the rest of that yourselves. There's a section here for the ladies.
I'd like to address you and our audience today because a lot of you are heads of households.
Ladies haven't been in guns. Ladies aren't represented in guns. Ladies aren't. Ladies don't get represented at gun shops. Here you go, 2000.
Many of you have to take care of your own families. We're important to many people. We're important to our families, our children. That is a little handleable when you're using some gun, or maybe you've got a baby in your arms and you're trying to handle this cumbersome gun. I think shotguns are great, but there are a little more practical firearms to use.
Right on. So not only is she smart, she's also super aware.
Another point I want you to consider when you're using a long arm in your home for self-defense is when you're approaching a doorway, there may be somebody on the other side. And if they grab that muzzle...
Right. So you're welcome. Now we're going to get to Baby Larry Pratt talking about, well, you'll hear.
Now here's Larry Pratt from Gun Owners of America.
Gun Owners of America sponsor the Johnny Rowland Shooting Show.
As the Congress returns for the pre-election session of the new millennium, an old threat lies waiting to ambush the Second Amendment. Senator Orrin Hatch, a Republican from Utah, has sponsored a piece of legislation as anti-gun as anything Senators Dianne Feinstein or Charles Schumer have ever put forth. Hatch's bill started out as a juvenile justice crime bill. In the legislative frenzy following Columbine, Hatch's bill was approved by the Senate, but the House voted it down. Hatch spent the last half of 1999 pushing to get the House to act on his bill. This is what Hatch was trying to put into law. 1. An end to gun shows by putting open-ended regulatory and taxing power in the hands of Washington bureaucrats. 2. FBI registration of private gun sales at gun shows by subjecting them to the instant background check, the same as licensed dealers. 3. Banning importation of high-capacity self-defense magazines. 4. Forcing gun buyers to buy trigger locks, better known as lock-up-your-safety devices, when they buy a new gun. Senator Hatch came to Washington in the 70s as a let's-get-things-done conservative. Since then, he has become a close personal friend of Ted Kennedy, even flaunting a painting by his Bay State buddy in his front office in the Senate. The inscription under Kennedy's signature reads, "We'll always keep the light on for you at the compound." This is a reference to Kennedy's estate on Cape Cod, and as you can see, it's okay for liberals to have compounds, but it is bad when gun-owning conservatives do likewise. Apparently, Senator Hatch's close personal relationship with Kennedy has put its stamp on the ex-conservative's politics. Not only is he now for gun control, but he has approved virtually every single one of Bill Clinton's judicial nominees. Happily, Republican primary voters have put an end to Hatch's presidential race, but the rest of us still need to put an end to Hatch's juvenile crime bill. This is Larry Pratt in Washington.
Friends, Gun Owners of America is the only full-time, 100% pro-gun organization in Washington, D.C. every day. If you'd like information on how to join Gun Owners of America, get on their fax line, get on their information line, give them a call at 888-886-GUNS or 888-886-4867. And please remember to tell them that you saw it here on our show.
Notice no mention at all of that URL because that was like the 4th URL probably. All right, so everybody voted to watch the shooting show. That's what we're doing. So next up, the question, once YouTube censorship lets me type in another question. What's up? What is up with the 1911 Gun Owner America's, what are we going to call this? Splash screen? I don't know what to call that. Title wipe. So, I dig it. Or, come on, maybe. All right, so that's your choices for, what the hell is this? Where do they come up with this? I'm pretty sure this is one of Johnny Roland's 460 Roland 1911s decked out by Kimber. Or, what is it, a Grizzly? Because look how wide that thing is. This could be a Grizzly 44 Magnum or something, or is it a 10 millimeter? Whatever it is, they've photoshopped out the magazine. What's up with that? They put a compensator on it. What's up with that? And it's all skeletonized and stuff. And then target sights. And then why is it angled down? Why isn't it angled up? I got issues with it, but you can vote on it yourselves. All right, so this was a pretty good episode. I'd recommend listening to this whole one. It's only 28 minutes long. It's good. This was a section of time when Johnny Roland shows were only a half an hour long because he was paying for his time ahead of time. I'm piecing this together from listening to him. This one is pretty good. We're going to listen to a couple of pieces here. We'll see. People are ditching out of here because they can't handle it. So this is the one with the more complete, and in fact, most of this show, like 30 minutes of this 1 hour show, is a tour of Wilson. So first it starts out with Catherine, and her fans give her whatever. She gives her address so that fans can write to her, which is interesting. And then you got most of the show is the interview with Wilson. Is it Bill Wilson? And then a tour of the place. And a bunch of this is showing the facilities and stuff at there, I think. And then you get a little bit with the ammo at the end of this one. But you get a pretty good look at the facilities and some of the scale, I guess, of the place. They walk around the place and you get a kind of a feel of the place, of the Wilson manufacturing facility. So at the beginning, though, they kind of start out the tour and then they get straight into this.
Well, which does make sense. You've done some favors for Gun Owners of America. You're doing a roundup program type thing for them, right?
Yeah, what we do, matter of fact, it's right here in our catalog. We do what we call the Patriot Dollars program. It's right here in the catalog. And anytime anybody places an order with Wilson's, we usually close the sales call with, would you like to contribute $1, $3, or $5 to Gun Owners of America to help maintain your gun rights?
Well, friends, those of you out there watching know that we're more fans of Gun Owners of America than any other legislative organization or affecting organization, because Larry and those fellows are they don't want to compromise.
Right.
And go ahead.
Yeah, we send every penny of that to gun owners too. I mean, there's no handling fee or whatever. I mean, we're doing this because we really believe what Larry Pratt and Gun Owners of America are doing.
Well, I would certainly agree. And you said that you also saw a survey of the dollars spent. They go to all the gun organizations, and we won't mention the others, but Gun Owners of America got the most money actually went to supporting our gun rights more so than any other gun organization. I am correct on that, right? So that's another reason. Certainly, they're just not willing to compromise, and that's our problem, friends. We've been compromised. A lot of our rights have been compromised away from us. Now, Bill, another problem I have here.
So just to clarify, I jumped back. This is a different episode. So now we're back in 1997, right? Just a couple of years. They're still in the immediate aftershock. The 10-year assault weapons ban is barely 2 years old. They're just understanding what it's like to live in that infringement. And, well, like Domo said, there didn't stop. There was a bunch of people that got voted out of office, but they certainly didn't stop their attacks.
A lot of people I know, myself included, I like to shoot an old gun. I'd like to learn. In fact, I try. But a lot of us like IPSC or action shooting type competition. But, I got a revolver I like to shoot. And I can't afford $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 for a competition gun. Now, you understand my difficulty with that.
Yeah, that's one reason that I was one of the people instrumental in starting the International Defensive Pistol Association. And this is a new shooting organization, primarily aimed at the guy that has a concealed carry permit, off-duty police officer, just any civilian shooter that wants to be more proficient with a practical self-defense weapon.
Okay, so I'm going to go back because I'm interrupting here, but this is the next segment of this conversation after they got done talking about Wilson Combat's interest and efforts to send resources to gun owners of America back in 1997. Then they kind of start talking about, they transition into the origins of IDPA, the International Defensive Pistol Association, I think it's what it's called. So IPSC had already been started years ago by Cooper and a bunch of dudes, and had evolved from an opportunity for people who were interested in the development and the evolution of pistol craft or pistol fighting or gun fighting with handguns and rifles, I guess, so just gunfighting. But people that had started with that intent, IPSC had become a race gun sport, a sport with Wonder 9s and Super 38s and race guns that basically were like race cars. They would underneath everything, they might have been a 1911 or a Beretta or something, but they were all kinds of spare parts and stuff made by people like Bill Wilson. So, this guy knew all about it and saw the development, but there was that concern that Johnny Rowland starts to bring up. And if you listen to people today, they'll tell you that they have a twisted perception of how this all started. So I'm going to rewind it a bit and let it sink in, because it's just a moment or two of rewind. But this is the two dudes talking. Well, Bill Wilson was one of the creators of it with Hackathorn and what's his face and Vickers. I know a couple of people. So, a bunch of people, actually, like 12 people. So anyway, these guys all started it. And if you listen to people today, that weird noise, they will adamantly tell you that IDPA, that's me hitting the table, I guess. They'll adamantly tell you today that IDPA is the one with more rules. And this is, again, the origin, listening in 1997 to the actual origin of the IDPA sport.
And this is a new shooting organization, primarily aimed at the guy that has a concealed carry permit, off-duty police officer, just any civilian shooter that wants to be more proficient with a practical self-defense weapon.
Well, we're talking, you said practical self-defense weapon. A lot of you out there have Model 19 Smith & Wessons, maybe have a Taurus 9mm semi-automatic. Maybe they got a 1911 government model with a regular 7-shot magazine or whatever. And these guns are just not competitive in the shooting games like IPSC. But there's a lot more people that have these guns than can afford a $3,000 race gun. So I think this is a terrific idea. Now, you folks, this is a fast-growing organization, am I right?
That's right. We actually finalized the rules in October of last year, and I took the first membership check at the end of November last year, and we're already up to almost 1,200 members now, and we have 87 clubs.
Now, friends, what this does, it's just like, we've been talking about cowboy action shooting. The strength is getting people out shooting their guns and getting people involved again who, as the sport has of IPSC shooting, International Practical Shooting, the IPSC, has kind of, the more specialized it became, it's weeded a lot of people out. And this is a case, and you have seen to it through your rules, it can never be an equipment race, am I right?
That's right. We've written the rules to basically make it a shooting sport, not an equipment sport. Basically, the equipment is regulated to the point where you can't put any of the widgets on there that makes it a race gun.
Compensators, no scopes.
No porting of the barrels even. None of the big plastic gaudy ghost string top sights and, weighted grips. And none of that stuff is permitted in IDPA. If it's a 1911 you're shooting and it's not configured like you would really carry it on the street, it's not going to be legal for IDPA competition. And then, but our most popular division is what we call the stock service pistol division. And this division is designed specifically for the guy that's got the Glock 17, the Beretta 92F, the Taurus PT92, the Smith & Wesson 5906, SIG 226, those type of guns. It's specifically for those.
People have those guns, don't really know how it would go if they had to use them under pressure. So this is, I think, is a great opportunity for people to discover just, in fact, how their guns do work in competition.
Stay tuned for more of the shooting show after these important messages.
All right, so that was that, and then we're going to jump to some 2A stuff since y'all are appreciating their nerdiness. This is some interesting stuff from 1997.
Scott, a good judge here on the shooting show. He said, "How you doing today? We missed you last week." Well, I was tied up last week, brother. Now, friends, we have people who want to change our United States Constitution and take the embarrassing, is that what they call it, the embarrassing Second Amendment to some of these folks, take it out. And what Dr. Levinson wrote an article and called it, got it published in Yale Law Journal, called The Embarrassing Second Amendment. He was a staunch liberal, right? He's a staunch liberal, but he recognized that the arguments that the pro-gun people were using were essentially correct. Absolutely. Even that's I'd say that's character on the liberals' part to admit. Well, you know what, friends? The Second Amendment is not an embarrassment to us, and if you want to keep it in place, something you can do. If you're out there last year, yeah, and I would call, we started debating whether he had never voted for a gun control bill. Well, you told him different, didn't you? I haven't told him different yet. We started debating whether to really throw it up to him or not. But he voted for the postal spending bill, the postal budget bill last year. Yeah. And I would call some provisions in that bill to be very anti-gun. Oh, no question. That's your school zone. If you pass within 1,000 feet of a school zone, you can go with a loaded gun in your car. You can go to jail for up to 5 years, friends.
So that's the school zone bill. What did I just close? I closed Gunstreamer. That would be the... What did I do? I must have deleted... Why would I delete the Minuteman University? Let's add that back real quick because it's driving me nuts not having it in this. Okay. So go to federal laws, and which one was the school one? That would have been the Gun-Free School Zone Act from 1990, and prohibiting any unauthorized individual from knowingly possessing a loaded or unsecured firearm that the individual knows of or has used reasonable cause to believe is in a school zone. And it applies to all school zone and within 1,000 feet of the school zone. So that was from November in 1990. So this is 7 years later they're talking about it.
This is already in place. And right now we're hearing about selective enforcement of this. But let me tell you what, friends,
So 7 years later, they're talking about it, not like they didn't know, but, it takes some time to know about these laws and to have them start taking effect. So things happened on a slower pace back then. So in 1997, they're talking about this 1990 bill. They're referencing that.
coming. It is coming, and the only way we're going to do anything about it is to reach more people, and more people have to be reached on television, on TV, where we can see them, where they can see us, and they can see we're normal citizens, and we can explain our case. That's the only way it's going to be helped. And the shooting show is the number one way, the number one gun TV show that has ever been. Because, we're not afraid to tell the truth. We're not afraid to stand up and say, all right, here's how it is.
And he's doing that in a, what is this, some kind of VHS tape control room editing thing from back in the olden days. I guess that kind of looked cool. But you know what I'm saying? Like, they're just doing this in a community access, like, whatever they call that, open facility almost. So basically, they're taking a section of their show that they're attempting to get out there, and they're devoting it to 2A, hardcore 2A, like nerdy 2A that's like, definitely you got to be into it to deal with that amount of 2A. So we're talking from 52 to 59, something like 7 minutes out of a 60-minute show, almost, 10% of the show. Now, if you count the beginning, he talks to that Catherine, and a good chunk of talking to Catherine is 2A. He talks to Bill Wilson, they get into 2A. You can buy this 1919 semi-auto, right? And $300 goes to the shooting show. You get the tour of the Wilson Combat, and then they start talking about this ammo from Georgia Ammo, talking about that timer, selling a duster. So basically kind of like an online magazine, and they're spending a good chunk talking about 2A. I think that's respectable, in my opinion. So go back to here, and, was that successful? I don't know, right? I mean, nobody knows who Johnny Roloff is. Let's go see what this says over here. What's up with the 1911 on GOA splash screen back there? 20, so out of 9 votes, that's interesting. There's only 7 people watching. How did we get 9 votes? That's fishy. So we got 44% defaulted to come on, man. That explains all the votes. We had a bunch of FBI plants voting. I guess maybe if you had a big enough FBI plant and you set it next to one of them push button lights, like one of them push button, it's also a fade, and then you had a fan on, the one leaf could keep hitting the light on and off. And that could be what happened, is one of the FBI plants had a fan or something in the room, and its leaf went down and smashed the space bar, and that's how it voted. I guess that's the only explanation. So I don't know if we should delete all these comments because they're mathematically not possible, but technically Come On Man somehow won, and then people don't care, and then a couple of people dig it. I don't know how to explain that one. All right, let's see. Stephen Holbrook, what are we talking about over here? So let's go see what's happening in the text over here. Has there ever been a break from infringements? I don't think so, and they come in waves, and they come in different directions. One of my goals over on Minuteman is going to be to, I don't think I've got too much of that over here right now, but part of that will be the antis, the gun prohibitionists. And I guess I have these waves of infringement. So we start with Reformation, then you get to Prohibition, then you get culture wars. But the problem is, wherever I got this breakdown from, it works, but there's more to it than that. There's more nuance than that. So some of the specific things are listed here, but this is really my notes. This is something that the more scope, the more puzzle pieces you put together, the more clear this becomes. But for example, you've got your Reformation. So during and after the Civil, well, before and after the Civil War, there's all these laws that are racist, super racist, just to keep slaves from having guns or using guns if they're ever freed. And then you get a whole bunch of laws when people come over from Europe because they're filthy immigrants and they shouldn't have guns. So, and then plus you had freed slaves coming north. So again, nobody should have guns, just the police. And the police back then were corrupt. So the only people that could have guns were when the police said they could. So basically the fancy, expensive people and the people that could bribe the police, I guess. And then the police. And then New York liked it that way, and then they kept it that way since 1911, basically. Then you get prohibition, where the anti-alcohol, whatever you call it, like the criminals from alcohol started to shoot each other. And since they're already walking around with alcohol that's going to land them in jail forever, what do they care if they got guns also? So whenever they said prohibition isn't working, let's get rid of prohibition, they were like, well, let's not get rid of the people who enforced alcohol. Instead, let's give them firearms and let's give them the ability to enforce the law instead of just regulate the law. And that creates the ATF and the new business of regulating and being jackboots. So that already had been an ATF, but that just gave them more authority, more power, and a new direction. Use your crime fighting from fighting the alcohol organized crime, go after gun organized crime. And since there was none, they invented it by going after FFLs, basically. Then you get this culture war, and that's things like the vigilantes in New York and assassinations, attacks on privacy once computers became a thing. There's lots and lots of layers to these. So, you know, there's other ways as well. Hunters, going after hunters and the game lands and wildlife management and that kind of thing, going after endangered species laws and stuff. So there was so many different waves. Then you get into strategies like going after the manufacturers. The whole thing we talked about with Glock, that was the doctor from California who attempted to go after those small manufacturers in LA and was unsuccessful. So he went larger. Or no, wait, he was successful. He was unsuccessful going after him as the right to own the gun. So he went after him by suing him and he was successful. Then he went after Smith & Wesson. Not him, but the strategy was to take it larger and go to Smith & Wesson, and that was successful. Smith & Wesson conceded and made a Hillary hole, bent over and took it from Clinton's, and all the rest of the companies were like, well, maybe we should wait. And Glock was like, here's why I'm not doing that, and then gave him one of these checkmates, and the government was like, oh yeah, snap, we really can't do this. That gave the representatives enough time to create the whatever that PLACA bill is, the Protection of Lawful Arms and Commerce, that says you can't just heinously go after somebody who builds a thing just because some criminal uses a thing in some wrong way later or accidentally. So, you know, the one that everybody now says is the special absence from prosecution of the gun industry, it's really just the extra protection that was necessary because of this attempt to waste a bunch of time and money, really. It wasn't even like anybody was thinking it was a valid attempt to attack the gun industry. It was just going to be an opening for a waste of time and money. So they just created all that. There's a lot of different ways that they've come after us, and I'm not even getting started. So, yeah, difficult to keep track of it all, but we're going to attempt to do it. All right, so I still didn't figure out. Let's see. Appreciate the context. Why are you saying Stephen Holbrook history book, probably? Oh, are you talking about the book I'm talking about? The book I'm talking about is written by a guy named Barrett, and it's called Glock, America's Gun. So if you go to Amazon, or it's called The Rise of America's Gun, I guess. And then if I give you this link and you use this link, then I get a cut of the book for one. And then anything else you buy on Amazon, I guess, I get a cut of it. But anyway, that's the book, and it's a good book. It was written in 2013. I voted for, I dig it. Prohibitionists should not be around, like somehow removed from society, like maybe a law against them. They should be prohibited. Is that what you're saying? All right, I think we're caught up. Right on. So with that, I think we're done. Or we're going to go look at GunStreamer real quick, perhaps. So I don't know what's going on with GunStreamer. If anybody knows what's going on with GunStreamer, let me know. I'm not going to go to the main page because it's kind of a waste. So instead, I'm going to click on latest videos here and just sort of see if there's anything interesting happening. I don't watch all these people over here. Liberty Doll looks like she has her stuff going straight over there. I don't know if, I suspect most of these people probably just have their YouTube channels hooked up so that they go straight over. We got Gun Freedom Radio's interview with John Lott showing up over there. I'd recommend giving that a watch or a like over there if you're a member. What else do we got? I think I'm not even looking at my subscriptions. I'm just looking at everything. Oh, this was one of the things I looked at, or I was looking through here the other day, and I found this channel from Lipsies. Lipsies is, I think of them as a middleman. They're like, they're basically Brownells. They're midway. They're just a company that's in the middle that you can buy stuff from, or maybe you can't. Maybe it's just gun shops can buy from them. I'm not really sure. It says Lipsies, originally named S&S Wholesale, was formed as a wholesale hunting and fishing distributor in 1953. In 1977, it was purchased by a guy named Lipsy, and they concentrated on distribution of sporting goods. And then in the 80s, he made a decision to meld it with firearms, and they started getting rid of the athletic stuff and took one of the top firearms distributors in the country. The company leads the market in exclusive firearms, an authority in NFA regulations, also as a robust line of silencers, short rifles, and accessories. So it sounds like they started out with sporting goods, they focused, or they got firearms, and then they started to focus on firearms, and now they're claiming NFA and the leading the market in distribution of exclusive firearms. So that's one of the other things I think Lipsies might be known for, is buying like a run of, I don't know, like 200, I don't know the companies they work with. So let's just say Ruger, although I don't know if they work with Ruger. But, you know, they'd buy like 100 Rugers or some brand of gun and then have it painted or engraved or whittled or, you know, something done to it that makes it unique, put different grips on it, put some kind of optic package on it or a holster, not a holster, but usually stuff to the gun. Now they got 1 through 100 and then they sell those. Maybe they do 1,000, I don't know, but they do these runs like that of specific setups. And some of them have been interesting. I think Lipsies was one of the first to do the mustard colored Glock runs for civilians. So anyway, it turns out they've got a YouTube channel and they're only 15 episodes in to a podcast, which is interesting. I like listening to podcasts, and only being 15 in, that gives you the ability to listen to it, right? It's only a half an hour podcast, so it's going to be what it's going to be. But if you start to look at who they've got in there, who they've had as, what do you call it? Guests, I guess. Well, Christians in Arms, I don't know about that one, if you're interested in that one. But this one, where did I see it? One of them is Mark Smith, president of Smith & Wesson, talking about their fancy Glock frames, talking about, maybe I assumed that was a guy from Ruger, I don't know. And then maybe it was just this one, and I didn't look that hard, but I assume there'd be more of them like this. But talking to the president of Smith & Wesson, it's only 20 minutes, but still, that'll be interesting. And then I'm going to listen to these. I haven't listened to one yet, but it seems intriguing. They have an industry point of view. Their access would be interesting. Their perspective and experience would be unique. And it seems like authentic. It doesn't look like they're putting too much effort into production, although at the same time, it's as produced as you'd expect from somebody who's probably dripping money all over the place. So pretty neat. I thought that was neat, and I found that over on Oh, did I link to it? Shit. That's over on GunStreamer. Like I said, I don't know what's going on with GunStreamer. If anybody knows some of the details behind the scenes, what's happening with GunStreamer, I'd certainly be interested to find out. Got some of our videos over there, so if you want to check our stuff out on GunStreamer, dig it. Clover posted something, his top favorite FUD guns, so we'll open that up and encourage you to check out Clover's stuff over there. He likes the GunStreamer. Maybe more than I do. See anybody else? See anything else that's worth checking out over there? There's a bunch of channels that I've heard of and stuff. Some of them I watch, some of them, well, most of them I don't watch, I guess. Some of them I have seen videos from. Oh, here's one from Travis testing some kind of 7.62x39. So there's a couple of videos on GunStreamer you might want to check out. What I recommend doing is go into GunStreamer, and then you can go down the main page and go, oh yeah, look, we're right there at the top, like the #1 featured channel, because we're so awesome. There it verifies that GunStreamer is decent, it's good. So next, just go up to where it says latest videos, and then you'll literally see the videos that have been posted most recently in no particular order. Once you've found a bunch, oh, you can also click on channels and subscribe to channels which are good and whatever. And then once you've done that, you can go to that main page when you log into GunStreamer or whatever, and click on Explore More under Subscriptions, and that's probably what I should have scrolled down. This is all the channels that I actually subscribe to and not a bunch of garbage and waste of time that was showing up on the screen before. So you've got Liberty Doll, you've got Gun Freedom Radio, Rock Island, the Auction Company. I did subscribe to Ellipses, so you got them. Rick, Life as I See It, and Shooting with Disabilities. He's up to episode 178. I've been watching ammo.com, interested in people's feedback on that one. I don't know if I like it or don't. Joel there's California Gun Guy or something like that. You got that riding shotgun with Charlie we mentioned earlier. Rock Island Gear Report is over there. There's Travis again. Gun Freedom Radio's interview with Alan, and so forth. So anyway, GunStreamer, pretty decent place. Check out some of these Ellipses things and give me some feedback. And definitely when you see Gun Freedom Radio or other people that are worth a damn, putting in effort, take the effort to click on their video and give them a thumbs up. It lets them know that you're a human out there appreciating it, seeing them out there. It's like waving from a window. But another side of it is you're giving the logarithm data. You're being part of your experience online. Everything we do is being recorded online. Some of it is certainly intentional, but often we just do things reflexively, and we don't pay attention to the deliberate stuff that we have the opportunity to do for other people, and things like thumbing up or clicking or leaving a comment, interacting with the various platforms is integral to their success. So it's definitely appreciated as a content creator when people interact with their content. All right, with all of that being said, I think we're done. Nobody's really saying anything out there, so I've talked to everybody over. I don't know, I guess we did almost an hour worth of Johnny Rowland and some other stuff, and then an hour of the best new stuff on the internet. I'm not sure if you can still get on there because of the way it's kind of in a weird limbo state, right? I'm not sure how GunStreamer is for letting new people on, but I suspect they might be letting new people on or having something in place for that to happen, because I see new channels over there occasionally. So, and I think they're newer than whenever they kind of had their change of, whatever you call it, like their transition time over at GunStreamer. But anyhow, so if anybody else has anything in the live side, feel free to leave it. I'll fart around a little bit here while I check if we got any. I think we have a poll going. So I was curious about doing a show tomorrow, and I asked earlier if I should, and I barely got a yes. In fact, if I remember right, when I factored in the amount of humans to ATF plants, I don't think I had a valid response. So I'm still not sure if I should do a chat tomorrow. If you're listening to this and you have an opinion, feel free to leave me a comment either live or in the future in the comments to the video. We're exactly at the 2-hour mark, so that's a good place to end it. Thanks again to the people that showed up live to watch the chat. Thanks to the Patreons who make it possible for us to spend time. Basically, I'm going to watch this stuff anyway, but giving us the time to jot it all down and then take a couple hours like this to go through it. We post it here on YouTube, so all these links are here for anybody that wants to find them. But they're also reciprocal links to all these different projects. That's the real goal. I've got 167,000 subscribers on this channel. If I can link to things that are valid and authentic, that's the goal. So we do each week. We take this list and post it over on Patreon so that it's got another platform that links to all these valid projects. So again, if you're interested, if you've got something that you'd like to recommend, feel free. I'm not guaranteeing that I'm going to link to everything because our links are so good. But we do want to encourage and inspire whatever we can, or help or support whatever we can. That's good. Let's see. G23 is out there commenting, and he has a show tomorrow. So why don't we do my shortest commercial I've ever made. We threatened to close down? I have been on there before they threatened to close down. Oh, I see what you're saying. So then you should still have your account. Mine was kind of rocky there for a minute, and then it came back to kind of working again. And I never got a reply from anybody. I may have sent in a few emails saying, hey, my thing isn't working, but I never got a reply. It just started working again. All right, well, thanks again. I do not know if we're going to have the live 2A advanced class tomorrow or not. We'll kind of leave that hanging to see how tomorrow goes. Tune in to people that are tuned out, perhaps. It's that time of year. And appreciate everybody again who shows up for the live part. If you leave in a comment, then consider yourself appreciated as well. We'll be back to pick you up later. Thank you for supporting our projects. If you'd like to buy us a cup of coffee, check out our Patreon channel.
The guys and gals of GunWebsites.com encourage you to take a CCW class every year, practice at least once a month, and carry every day. Thank you for watching GunWebsites.com.
I'll put a link out here to the chat if anybody wants to jump in for an after chat. You're welcome. If nobody jumps in after a couple of minutes, I'll shut it down. Been kind of hot and cold over the last few weeks. Sometimes a bunch of people jump in and we chat all night. Other times nobody jumps in. So, again, thanks everybody for showing up. We'll be back to pick you up later.